Hey, second grade. It's time for math. So today, hopefully, you guys have already finished lesson one. So today will be lesson two. What we're going to do today is we're going to draw and label a graph. So today, you guys are going to be making graphs, and you're going to use data from the from the from the data that I have collected already, or that I have collected from before. So I have my data here. It was about shapes, and I have squares 4, triangles I had 5, and hearts I had 8. So I'm going to go ahead and get started in drawing and labeling my graph. Okay? A graph paper or a graph grid usually has squares, similar to the ones like when you guys have your personal data folders and it says you need to graph your reading level, you get to graph your spelling test and what your score is. So all of that right there has squares. Right there you have already been graphing, but you just didn't know exactly what it was called. So now you guys are going to be putting all of that you learned from before in action. So we're going to draw and label that graph using the data. In your personal data folders, I gave you the graph. I gave you I drew it for you, I labeled it for you. You were just coloring in the data. Okay? So today you're going to learn kind of what it looks like to draw and label the graphs. Now, there's going to be two parts to this. One, doing this, and then the second part is answering really tricky questions. So in the first video, I'm just going to talk to you guys about what it looks like to draw and label. Okay? So I told you also that there are graphs that sometimes go up and down, right? Some that go side to side. So the one I'm going to do today, I'm going to do from the side. I'm going to graph that way. Okay? So I'm going to just draw a graph. I don't have graph paper, so I'm going to try my best to just draw straight lines, but my hand is a little shaky. My lines are not going to be perfect. That's okay. I tried my best. So now I'm going to go. There we go. I think that looks pretty good for doing it just by hand. In your notebooks, your graphs have already been drawn for you. Okay, this is usually what graph paper looks like. It has squares and they all look the same, about the same size. Now, a graph always has a title. Okay, it always has what you're talking about. So let's see. I'm going to write up here title so I don't forget to write my title. Well, my title has to be what this graph is going to be about. Well, if I look back at my data that I collected, I'm talking about what? About shapes. So my title is literally going to be what my data is about. If it were about animals, it would say animals. If it were about food, it'd say food. If it was about fruits, my title would say fruits. But today, in this graph, I'm going to be graphing shapes. I'm going to write down shapes. If it was about spelling tests, it would say spelling test. Okay, anything you're graphing, that's what your title will be. Okay, then you will have. Now I need to label what I'm graphing. Well, I know that I'm graphing shapes. I wrote that as my title. What shapes am I using? Well, I'm going to go ahead and draw here or write the word square. You know, I don't feel like writing too much. I'm just going to draw it. Okay? So here is going to be, I'm going to do it on the first line. I'm going to do square. And then the next one is my triangle. I'm going to skip one square and then do it here. I'm going to skip a line. Skip a line, draw, skip a line, draw, skip a line, and then I'm going to draw the heart. There we go. Then on one side, I went ahead and put my shapes. The next part I need to write in is my numbers. And since I'm going from, I need 4, 5, and 8, I'm going to do, so this will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, on one side, I have the shapes that I'm graphing. On the other side, I have the numbers, and then I have the title. On the top, there's a title. On the side over here, there's nothing. Okay, I have my shapes, what I'm graphing, and the numbers. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just graph. I went ahead and have my data. I labeled it. I pretty much drew my whole graph, but now I need to fill it in, okay? So I'm going to use this data now. I'm going to start with the first shape. Shape square. I had 4 of them. So I need to go on my square and count 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I get to color it in nicely and neatly. See? Square. And I went down to 4. I had 4 of them. Next one. Let's see if I can use a different color. For funsies, where are my markers? Oh, even at home I get to lose them. Where did they go? Oh, they're underneath the laptop. All right, let's use orange. The triangle has 5. Go to the triangle. Right next to it, that's where I need to start graphing. So again, I go all the way to the 5. And I can even draw a dot so that I know that's where I'm going to stop. And I take my crayon or my pencil, whatever you're using today, to graph it. You see how I'm staying inside the lines? I'm not going up and down. I'm not going past that line. I'm staying inside the line. Now I know that the triangle has 5. I'm going to go ahead and do the last one. The heart has 8, so I'm going to go all the way to the 8th and just go all the way up, put a dot, and try my best to stay in the line. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. I went ahead and graphed all of these, and that's what it takes to draw a label, a graph using your data. So, in the next video, we're going to talk about some questions, okay?